They announced my sister's pregnancy at my son's funeral. I was standing at the graveside. My 7-year-old boy was in that casket. The reception had just started. My sister tapped her glass. "Everyone, I have some wonderful news. My husband and I are expecting. We wanted to share this today to bring some joy to this sad occasion." My parents beamed. Guests stared. I couldn't breathe. My mother leaned over and whispered, "See? Something to smile about." I didn't smile. I didn't cry. I just stood there. Because in that moment I realized something. This wasn't spontaneous. This was planned. And I had the receipts that would destroy them all. Would you stay silent if your family did this to you? Drop your country and the time you're watching this in the comments below. And if you think I did the right thing, hit that like button. You'll want to stay until the end for this one. They had no idea what I'd found. 3 weeks earlier, my life was normal. I had a son. His name was Sam. He was 7, smart, funny, obsessed with dinosaurs. One phone call changed everything. There was an accident. A driver ran a red light. Sam didn't make it. I won't go into details. If you've lost someone, you know. If you haven't, I can't explain it. My parents? They sent flowers. They didn't visit. They said they were giving me space. My sister called once. She said, "Let me know if you need anything," and that was it. I planned the funeral alone. I picked the casket. I wrote the program. My hands shook the whole time. Here's the thing about me. I'm a financial analyst. My job is finding patterns in spread shares and numbers. I'm detail-oriented. I document everything. I keep emails. I screenshot texts. I save receipts. It's just who I am. Growing up, I had to be that way. I was the responsible one. I put myself through college, paid my own rent, built my own life. My sister? She was the golden child. Parents paid for her wedding, bailed her out of credit card debt, covered her rent more than once. I stopped expecting fairness a long time ago, but I never stopped keeping records. I didn't know yet that I'd been collecting evidence for years. The morning of the funeral, I thought nothing could make that day worse. I was wrong. The reception was in the church hall. 2 hours after we buried my son, I was sitting alone. People kept their distance. Grief makes people uncomfortable. Then my sister walked over. My parents were right behind her. All 3 of them were smiling. "Hey," she said. "Can we talk to everyone for a second?" I didn't answer. I was too numb. She turned to the room and raised her voice. "Everyone, I'm so sorry for the sadness today. But Mom and I thought it would help to share some good news." My stomach dropped. My husband and I are 12 weeks pregnant. We found out a while ago, but we wanted to wait for the right moment. And Mom said today could use some light. People clapped. Some looked horrified, but no one said a word. My mother nodded. We all need something to celebrate. Life goes on. My sister looked at me. "You should be happy for me. This is a blessing for the whole family." I stared at her. I couldn't speak. My father cleared his throat. "It's important to focus on the future. Your sister needs our support right now." I stood up. I didn't say a word. I walked out. Behind me, I heard my sister's voice. "Don't be selfish." That word, selfish. It stuck in my mind the whole drive home. That night, the family group chat exploded. My mother, "You embarrassed us in front of everyone." My sister, "I can't believe you walked out. I was trying to help you heal." My father, "This behavior is unacceptable. You owe your sister an apology." Then extended family joined in. Aunts, uncles, cousins. "Maybe you should talk to someone. Grief can make people act out. Your sister was just trying to brighten the mood." I was being painted as unstable, bitter, selfish. My mother sent me a private text. "If you can't be supportive, maybe you need space from this family." I sat on my couch, alone, staring at my phone. Everyone was against me. My son was gone. My family had turned his funeral into a gender reveal party. And I was the villain. I almost apologized. I almost gave in just to make it stop. Then I looked at my sister's message again. 12 weeks pregnant. I did the math. 12 weeks before the funeral. That was 5 days after Sam died. Wait. I opened my phone. I scrolled back in the group chat. Way back. I needed to be sure. And that's when I found it. I scrolled back 13 weeks in the family group chat. And there it was. A message from my sister to my parents. Dated 5 days after Sam's accident. Mom, Dad, we're pregnant. Just found out. Don't tell anyone yet. I want to announce it at the right time. Maybe Thanksgiving? My mother's reply. Congratulations, sweetheart. So exciting. We'll keep it quiet. The funeral was 2 days before Thanksgiving. I took a screenshot. I saved it in 3 places they knew. They knew about the pregnancy for weeks. And they chose my son's funeral as the right time. This wasn't a spontaneous moment of joy. It wasn't tactless. It was tactical, but why? What did they gain by humiliating me in front of everyone? Why work so hard to make me look unstable? Then I remembered something my father had mentioned in passing a month earlier. The trust. My grandmother had left a trust for me and my sister. Equal shares. My parents managed it. There was an annual review meeting coming up. I opened my laptop. If they planned the announcement, they planned something bigger. I needed to know what I was really dealing with. So I started digging. The next morning, my mother called. No apology. No acknowledgement. Your sister is having a baby shower in 3 weeks. You'll co-host it with me. It's time to move on and support family. Not a question. A command. I said, I'll think about it, and hung up. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A Venmo request. From my sister. $500. The note said, your share of the shower. Thanks. I stared at it. Then my phone buzzed again. An email from my parents, sent to every aunt, uncle, and cousin in the family. Subject line, a note about our daughter. I opened it. As many of you know, our daughter is struggling with grief after the loss of her son. We ask that you give her space and patience as she heals. In the meantime, we hope you'll join us in supporting her sister, who is expecting her first child. Let's rally around the joy in our family. Within an hour, my phone was full of messages. Thinking of you. Take care of yourself. Have you considered therapy? Grief is so hard. Sending love. They'd set the narrative. I was fragile, unstable, in need of help. My sister was the victim, the hero, the blessing. And then my father sent one more text to the group chat. Looking forward to the trust review meeting next month. Let's make sure everything is in order. I read it twice. Everything is in order. That's when I knew. This was bigger than a baby announcement. This was a plan. I went into my email archive. I searched one word. Trust. And I found something I'd been copied on 6 months earlier. I'd ignored it at the time. It was a forwarded email chain between my parents and the family estate attorney. Subject line, Trust Amendment, Competency Clause. My mother had written, we'd like to discuss adding language that allows us, as trustees, to reduce or delay a beneficiary's distribution if they're deemed mentally or emotionally unfit. Can you draft something? The attorney replied with sample language and a warning about legal risks. My mother's final message. Let's hold off for now. We may need this flexibility down the road. I read it 3 times. They were building a legal case to cut me out. The funeral announcement, the public meltdown they expected, the family emails calling me unstable. It was all groundwork. If they could prove I was unfit, they could delay my share indefinitely. Or reduce it. Or divert it to my sister. I saved the email. I printed it. I forwarded it to a separate account. This wasn't grief. This wasn't family drama. This was a financial attack. And I needed to know why they were so desperate. I pulled up the trust document. My grandmother had set it up 20 years ago. It was split evenly. 50% to me. 50% to my sister. Current value, $1.8 million each. My parents were named as trustees. They had discretion over distributions and management. But that didn't explain why they'd risk everything to paint me as unstable. So I did something I hadn't done in years. I checked my credit report. My sister had added me as an authorized user on one of her cards when we were younger. I'd forgotten about it. She'd never removed me, which meant I could still see her accounts. I logged in. My sister was $140,000 in debt. Credit cards. Personal loans. A business loan for a boutique that had closed 2 years ago. My parents were co-signers on half of it. If my sister didn't pay, my parents were on the hook. Suddenly it all made sense. They needed my share of the trust. If they could prove I was unfit, they could delay my distribution. Divert funds to family needs. They could bail out my sister. Protect themselves. The pregnancy announcement wasn't about joy. It was about money. And I finally knew exactly what to do. I made an appointment with a trust litigation attorney. Not the family's attorney. A new one. I brought everything. The screenshots. The competency clause email. The credit report. The trust document. The attorney read in silence for 10 minutes. Then she looked up. You have grounds to remove them as trustees and petition for immediate distribution. This is a clear conflict of interest. I nodded. What do I need to do? We file a petition with the probate court. We'll also request a forensic audit of the trust. If they've mismanaged funds, we'll find it. I hired her on the spot. Then I hired a forensic accountant. My parents had managed that trust for 15 years. I wanted to know if my sister and I had really received equal treatment. We drafted the petition. It was 12 pages. Clean. Surgical. Devastating. The attorney asked when I wanted to file. I looked at my calendar. The baby shower was in 3 weeks. File it the morning of the shower, I said. She raised an eyebrow. You're sure? I nodded. Let them celebrate. I'll bring the evidence. I sent my mother a single text. I'll be at the shower. Wouldn't miss it. She replied with a heart emoji. I didn't feel angry. I felt calm. 3 weeks, I waited. I documented. I prepared. And then the day came. The baby shower was at my parents' house. 50 guests. Pastel balloons everywhere. A dessert table. A gift mountain. I arrived on time. I wore a simple dress. I smiled. My mother hugged me at the door. I'm so glad you came. This means everything. I said I wouldn't miss it. I'd volunteered to help set up the AV for a slideshow. No one thought twice when I connected my tablet to the TV. 2 hours in, my sister was opening gifts. Everyone was laughing. My parents were glowing. I stood up. Can I say a few words? The room went quiet. My sister smiled. My mother nodded. I took a breath. I want to thank my sister. She taught me something really important these past few weeks. People leaned in. She taught me that family can smile at your grief and plan your betrayal at the same time. The room froze. I tapped my tablet. The TV screen changed. First image, the group chat screenshot. My sister's message dated 5 days after Sam's death. Don't tell anyone yet. I want to announce at the right time. I read it out loud. Calm. Clear. The funeral wasn't spontaneous. It was planned. My mother stood up. What are you? I tapped again. Second image, the email about the competency clause. 6 months ago, my parents asked an attorney how to cut me out of Grandma's trust if I seemed unstable. As whispers, I tapped again. Third image, my sister's credit report summary. $140,000 in debt. My parents listed as co-signers. This pregnancy announcement wasn't about joy. It was about money. They needed me to look unfit so they could take my inheritance and cover her debts. My sister screamed. You're insane. I stayed calm. This morning, I filed a petition in probate court to remove Mom and Dad as trustees and demand a full forensic audit of the trust. You'll all be hearing from my attorney. I set a business card on the gift table. Then I walked to the door. Behind me, chaos, shouting, my mother crying. Guests pulling out their phones. I didn't look back. I'd said everything that mattered. The fallout was immediate. 3 guests had recorded the whole thing. The video spread through the extended family by that night. My parents tried damage control. They sent another group email. There's been a misunderstanding. Things were taken out of context. No one bought it. Within a week, my parents' attorney called my attorney. They wanted to settle. They'd resign as trustees to avoid a formal removal hearing and a deeper audit. My attorney said no. We wanted the audit. It took 6 weeks. The forensic accountant found $43,000 in administrative fees my parents had paid themselves over the years. Not illegal, but not equal. My sister's distributions had been prioritized, mine delayed. The court appointed an independent trustee, a retired judge. No family ties. I received my full distribution, $1.8 million plus the adjustment for the fees. My sister's share remained hers. But her debt stayed hers too. My parents stopped co-signing anything. They tried one more time to spin the story. Another email. Another excuse. I blocked all 3 of them. I didn't post about it. I didn't gloat. I didn't send a victory text. I just moved on. I used part of the money to set up a scholarship fund in Sam's name for kids who love dinosaurs and science. I sold my share of the family vacation house back to my parents. Market rate. Clean break. No revenge spending. No public shaming beyond that one moment. I started therapy, not because I was unstable, but because I needed to process my grief without interference. I needed space to remember my son. Not as a prop in someone else's drama, but as the kid he was. Funny, smart, loved. A year later, I'm still no contact with my parents and sister. Some relatives reached out. Some didn't. I'm okay with both. Here's what I learned. Some people will weaponize your pain. They'll smile at your funeral and plan your destruction in the same breath. Document everything. Trust your gut. And know when to walk away. Boundaries aren't cruel. Silence isn't weakness. And keeping receipts isn't paranoia. It's protection. I didn't win because I was ruthless. I won because I was prepared. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to cut off family to protect yourself? What would you have done at that baby shower? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and if this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. You're not alone. One more thing. This is a fictionalized dramatization for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not legal or financial advice. Always consult licensed professionals. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.